All right, osteoporosis. This is round 2. What's going on, Secoya Nation? Dr. Schilling bringing today's wellness wisdom. Today we're breaking down for the second time, because the first time didn't record for some reason, osteoporosis. So if you don't know what that is, it's loss of bone minerals, loss of bone density, things like that, preceded by low bone density, or also known as osteopenia. So we don't want to talk about someone's Fosamax deficiency or the fact that they need more minerals and things like that. You don't need a bunch of more calcium. We're not worried about that, because there's a lot of metabolic things that can go into that, but strength training and things like that are really important. What's important is you understand from a brain-body disconnect, brain-body conflict standpoint, from a German medicine standpoint, osteoporosis is related to a devaluation conflict. And so the deeper the devaluation, the greater the loss of bone density, if you will. Typically it's found in a scenario where someone is resigned or basically have given up, like they're resigned or accepted their situation, if you will. And as a result, what they do is they're feeling like, oh, I'm not who I used to be anymore. They might feel useless or worthless. They might feel ugly. In a minute, we'll talk about how that affects women, especially toward menopause. But when your bones are disintegrating, right? They're becoming less and less dense, and your body's saying, I don't need the osteoblast to build up bone anymore, because at this point, I don't want to leave any trace of myself. So from a brain-body disconnect, we start losing bone density because we don't want to leave a trace of ourselves. And as a result, if you don't want to leave anything left behind, you're going to start breaking yourself down. So if you find yourself loss of purpose, useless, I'm ugly, I've got no purpose in life, your brain will say, well, I don't need to stay strong in my skeleton anymore, and it'll just start breaking things down. When someone feels like they've lost their gifts, they can't get in touch with their gifts, they feel unable to express their gifts anymore, maybe they've had a transition in terms of their career or their role, which we'll touch on in a second. These things can challenge their sense of purpose, their sense of meaning, their sense of identity. And as a result, they might feel sort of irrelevant or unimportant in the world, and that can lead to that self-devaluation, because remember, at the core level, osteoporosis is a deep self-devaluation, or just a deep devaluation with, I'm resigning myself to the fact that this is not going to change and I'm stuck here. So from a Dr. Hammer standpoint, his hypothesis was there was a shift, like something dramatically disrupted the self-esteem of the person that then developed osteoporosis. Everything that happens in a German new medicine standpoint is after a shock trauma, some unexpected shock that happens. So in this case, if it's an unexpected shock to someone's self-esteem, then that's going to result in the beginning of that self-devaluation, or the deep devaluation. And however long it lasts will determine how much bone density is lost. Okay, so people use the DEXA scan and things like that to determine these things. But someone with that sudden loss of self-esteem, they might have been put down. Someone might have made a critical remark, criticism, put them down of some sort. They could be not performing as well as they used to in sports, in work, in relationships, whatever. They might have a sense of just feeling unsupported. Okay, so these are things that can then affect the self-esteem. Illness and or aging are things that can affect someone's self-esteem, right? If you are becoming more frail, or your skin is deteriorating because you're in the sun too long during too high peak time, and you're breaking down your collagen, which is a deeper issue than just the sun exposure, because sun is healthy for you. Just for those kids out there wondering if you should be in the sun, you should absolutely be in the sun. The sun is not cancer causing, so for another day. But you want to make sure you find things that boost your self-confidence. If you want strong bones, you not only need to have a healthy diet, healthy gut, healthy digestion, resistance training, and things that strengthen your bones due to the stress, but you also need to find things that help you feel good about yourself. Confidence and self-esteem is super important for avoiding osteoporosis from a brain-body disconnect. When there's certain parts of the body, so for example, if you feel like a failure, so for example, the shoulder is like a stress I can't avoid, or it's feeling like a failure, feeling as a failure as a partner, as a business person, as a father, whatever it might be. And so shoulders typically, people don't typically get their humerus scanned, where the DEXA scan is usually the hip and the ilium, and then the femur neck. That's where that comes into play. So these are things that can come into play, but shoulders are oftentimes partner problems and things like that. And so when we think about if you're a woman transitioning into menopause, I mentioned this earlier, so I'm getting back to it now. you might feel like my kids are out of the house, I don't have a role as a mother anymore. Now I'm starting to think like, oh, this can happen a lot with women who have late stage divorces. All of a sudden they're like, oh, I don't know who I am anymore. What does it mean? Now that doesn't mean any of this is relevant, but these are the conflicts people run through in their minds. So just, you always have a purpose because you're a good human being just the way you are. So keep that in mind. But if you think like, oh, I've lost my sexual performance, I've lost my ability to procreate, or I've lost my ability to mother, I no longer have a purpose. Remember, we're talking about earlier about what's my purpose anymore. And so people associate a drop in bone density with estrogen loss, and then so they associate it with, oh, you have estrogen deficiency, so you should do hormone replacement therapy once you get into menopause. So all kinds of stuff goes into this, but really what's happening is if you don't feel like yourself anymore, if you don't feel attractive, you don't feel as potent or as strong and confident and beautiful or whatever it is, that will then lead to that self-evaluation. So a lot of gobbledygook, a lot of different ideas, but I want to bring you guys these ideas because we did it once before, didn't stick, so here's our second attempt. If you are suffering with osteoporosis, don't let someone tell you you have a Fosamax deficiency, because it's not, you were not born with a deficiency in a medication. So look into alternative therapies, alternative practitioners for someone in your area for guidance, because it's something you need ongoing support to identify underlying infections, anything like that. So keep in mind it's really important to work with a qualified professional. To that end, we're going to sign off for now. Peace, love, and much appreciation to all of you. If you have a comment below, please put it. Ideas for future videos that you want to see, great. Questions, concerns, ideas, clarifications, whatever that might be. But share it with someone if you found value in this. Share it with someone you think is going to benefit from understanding you with your osteoporosis, or if you know someone you love or care about that has osteoporosis, you should go ahead and share it with them and help them become enlightened into some of the things that are happening in their life that are affecting their bone density, okay? All right, love you. See ya.